Hi travelers, I've got my little camera set up on my tripod here, and I'm going to pre-record this little intro so that I can put it in front of every video. So unfortunately, as you go back to look at your moon and rising signs, you'll be hearing this again, but it's okay. So I told you that for January there were going to be there's a new deck of cards and a new way that I'm going to be attempting to read the cards. The cards are the Fin de Siècle, okay, known as the Kippers, and it's not a new deck. Lots of people use them, okay. Supposedly they're like the Lenormands, only I find them to be completely different from the Lenormands, and just in my experience with them, and they, for me, are more like the La Vida Sibila cards. I've also discovered that there are a few things missing from the cards in terms of situations that could happen. There's cards that are missing that could refer or relate to some of those situations. And as we go further into the year and I continue to do more readings with them, you'll understand what I mean, because I'll talk to you about it. And so I, read the little book that came with it. Okay. And that's all well and good. Some of the stuff I didn't understand or I did not agree with. And so, you know me, I created my own little book, the Fin de Siècle. Now, before I talk to you about what I did with the book, I am quite sure there's going to be somebody out there who's going to come up underneath the video and be like, well, that's not how the cards are read, or that's not what the cards say, or that's not what the meanings are. And that's fine and good. I have a process of bonding with my cards, of imprinting with my cards, and I wrote about that in a little short article over on Substack about tarot hygiene. And so in imprinting with the cards, they were really talking to me a lot. And so I was able to go back in and write my own little book and add some extra interpretations into it in terms of how the cards spoke to me in combinations with other cards. And so that's what's contained in the book. All right. Now, the way the cards are going to be, here's the deck. Okay. And so they're almost like I find them completely different from the Lenormands, especially the French Lenormands, even the Dorndorf, the German Lenormands. They're completely different. I think these cards are a little bit more plain spoken. So in that regard, they behave a lot like the La Vida Sibila. I've been doing some practice pulls. I haven't necessarily had to use the Sibilas for clarification, but I may have to. That's not the fault of the cards. That would be me, the reader, not understanding what the cards are saying to me. So I will be using, perhaps, if need be, the La Vida Sibila for a bit of clarification. These are going to be shorter readings this year. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 card spread, anywhere from 6 cards to 10 card spread in a pyramid shape with 3 additional cards off to the side. Those 3 cards additional off to the side will be dealt first face down, and then the rest of the cards will be dealt face up. So the 3 cards to the side that are face down will be things that may come into play. Okay. Again, as with all readings that I do here on YouTube, these readings are free, therefore they are general. And in order to gain any insight into your own specific situation requires a personal reading. And the way that I do personal readings, how you book with me, you contact me by email, and I get your birth date and your sun sign and just your questions. I don't want to know the story. I don't need to know the story about what's going on with you. I just want to know what the questions are, and then I read for you. I do live Zoom readings for 60 minutes. Everything else is recorded, which you upload it to YouTube so that you can go in and view them, download it, save it, delete it, whatever you want to do. I don't need the reading anymore. It's yours to do whatever you want to do with it. And so I always like to give that its general because I'm going to be reading for so many different people of sun, moon, and rising signs. So again, if you recognize a story, then you can always just book with me. You can go over to the About box section of my channel, and there you can find my reading packages. And I left one off, the 20-minute reading, so it's up there now in the About box section. Once you pick your package, you simply email me, and then we go from there, okay? I have payment links, everything. So that's pretty much it. I wanted to explain to you the cards, how I came about some of these interpretations. And before I finish, I want to give a shout out to Bella Dutch, who talked to me about these cards. She said she loves them, and now I understand why. So thanks, Bella. I appreciate that. I've been looking at them for a while, but just they didn't seem interesting to me, and I had bought so many decks that didn't speak, but this deck does a lot of talking. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close this down, and then we're going to get started with the readings. So I'll see you in a bit. Bye. Hi Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is going to be your general reading for January 2023. Please keep in mind that this is a general reading and the messages may not resonate with everyone, so I suggest that you check back to your Moon and Rising sign videos. You saw what am I trying to say? I lost train of thought. You saw an introduction before the video on the Fin de Cycle. This is the deck that I'm going to be using. I don't find that they are anything like the Lenormands. They have 3 additional cards, which the Lenormands do not. They're easier to read than the Lenormands, but I find that they behave more like the La Vida Sibila cards. Although I find that there's a lot of language that is missing from the Fin de Cycle. So I spent a lot of time with imprinting with the cards and came up with some additional interpretations, which would be my very own. Do know that if you'd like to get a personal reading, to look into your situation really does require a personal reading. I take your name, your birth date, your sun sign, pick you out of the collective, and then I read for you. So if you'd like to get a personal reading, you can go to the About box section of my channel. I have my reading packages listed there along with the prices. Pick one, and then you email me at this address right here in the box. Say, hey, Tara, I'm interested in it. I want to buy a 30-minute reading, and then we'll go from there. All right. So you will be, I'm putting my cards back together. You will get an opportunity at the end of this reading to formulate a question to both the angel answers and the Golden Nostradamus. All right. I have found that I haven't had to use the Sibilas at all, maybe in 3 readings, to kind of clarify a bit more, because as I say, there's some language that's missing in the Fin de Cycle. At least I feel so. But thus far, it's been a pretty easy read. As I explained in the introduction, there will be 3 cards that we put down face down first. Those are the quote-unquote surprise cards and are going to be the energies that will be coming into play into the future of the situation. And then there's a 10-card pyramid. All the cards are face up, and that's going to be the main spread. So let me go ahead and turn the camera around. Before I do, please, I hope everyone had a really great Christmas. I'm recording this today on the 26th of December, so there's just a few more days left in the year. I also have a final open reading for you that's going to be in a couple of days. It's already posted, so it should come live on the 28th. So do stay tuned for that as well. So I'm going to go ahead now and turn the camera around slowly, and we'll get started with the reading, okay? I don't know about the rest of you, but for some reason the energy of 2022 was the same like 2020 and 2021, and I'm kind of glad to be seeing the back of 2022. So here we go. Here are our cards. I'm going to put another rifle and shuffle on these. And then we will lay the 3 surprise cards face down, and then we'll start the spread. Okay, so here's our 3 cards. 1, 2, 3, and you'll get a chance to see that in a bit. So now we're going to lay the main spread. Despair, right at the top of the reading. You'll see these again. Courthouse. Let me show you despair again, okay? There it is. Courthouse. Change. Okay. Change of venue. It's the first thing that came, that my guide said. So let's see. Imprisonment. Sudden wealth. Isn't that interesting? Right in the center. Poverty. That's interesting. Okay, next row, last row. The thief. Wow, Capricorn, what the hell's going on for you? Mature woman. High honor. And official person. Wow, whatever this is, it is something serious. Okay. Right in the center of the spread, I have the sudden wealth card. Let me show it to you again. Okay. Now, I'm going to take my book, because y'all know me, I always got a book that I put together myself. And because this card is not talking to me about sudden wealth. It's just not. Now, what's interesting is I have the cards of the thief, imprisonment, the courthouse, poverty, and sudden wealth. And this card, sudden wealth, what it does initially is it speaks about lottery wins, raises, promotion, bonuses, perhaps inheritances. What it does is it announces success and influence and gain from your job. Or it can simply imply secure business partners or lucrative contracts. Well, that's not what I'm saying here. If it is close to the significator, which is this mature woman, it implies a lot of money. But if it is near the thief card, it says that someone is stealing from you, or it could be a con or a swindle. But it may also imply unscrupulous business partners who steal your clients, gossip about you, and shady contracts. Well, this is quite the reading. So at the top of the reading, we have the card of despair. And despair is, for me, if I wanted to equate it to another card, it would either be like the 9 of Swords, or it's going to be like the desperate jealousy in the Sibila cards. Okay. And this is an interesting card too, particularly with the other cards that have come out. But despair is the card of grieving, weeping, worry, anxiety, crying. Okay. It can refer to severe stress, emotional exhaustion. What I have found is that in some cases it can speak to severe depression and sometimes suicide or self-harm. In which case I would look for it to be with the card of imprisonment. Okay. And I think that would be nice next to it. But also here, despair, which the high honor card is coloring, to me can be an indication maybe of violence or even death by guns. But I don't foresee that this is the coffin card. It's not come out, nor has a pathway card. So to me, it is an indication of something that is seriously weighing on your mind. having to do with a legal issue. Okay, so we have the courthouse. Now, the courthouse is a funny card because it can be an indication of, it represents all official buildings. This is first and foremost. So it can stand for lawsuits, probates, wills, contracts, taxes, divorces, disputes, and all legal matters. Now, it says that if sudden wealth falls with the card, then it could usually mean that the situation will go in your favor with a great win and possibly lots of money. I think this would be true if it's in a 2 or 3 card spread, because what we see here is the card of poverty. And to me, this implies that there may be a loss. Okay? The change card is literally just talking about a change. A change in which whatever was locked down or kept away from you or you've been deprived of, okay, perhaps becomes a possibility. But we see it falls on the side of poverty, which tells me that whatever the change is, the imprisonment card, sometimes I've even seen these 2 cards together imply that someone is literally maybe going to jail. Okay, and the sudden wealth could be an indication that there might be a large bail or a large fine or a large something associated with that, which literally like takes everything that you own away, because the poverty card is about the idea of not having enough money to take care of your basic needs, but also it could be the idea of someone removing their support from you in a metaphorical sense. Okay, here with the thief card, to me it implies that there has been some theft here. Okay, now whether the thief is this mature woman or whether this mature woman is you, but the mature woman can also be your mom, it could be an aunt, it could be a sister, it could be a friend. Typically she will show up as somebody who has good advice, but she's being colored by the thief card. So I would say watch out for this person because they may not have your best interest at heart. Now here, the high honor card always typically deals with work and career. It talks about being recognized or recognition, getting your name in the paper. So this could be, instead of being famous, it could be someone who's being infamous. Okay, and then we have the official person, and these 2 cards kind of go together. The official person would typically be someone who might wear a uniform, but if not, simply, you know, because people don't need to wear uniforms to have authority, right? So it represents some type of authority figure. But to me, this is playing out as a situational thing, and what the situation is saying is that you are not in control of the situation. And whatever the thing is, once it's completed, it's going to become official. Okay. So let me see if there's anything else I can come up with. Number 29, in particular, the imprisonment card. Again, if this card, high honor, falls with courthouse and imprisonment, again, it could be something that speaks to, you know, infamy. And also here with the thief card. So it could be someone who their name may go in the paper because they've been arrested for, you know, theft. But it would be theft of a large sum of money. A large sum of money. The thief implies that something has been stolen, that someone has taken something from you. And I think what I find most interesting about this particular card is there are 3 figures in the card. And in Victorian times, we know that women who dress like this were working girls. And then you have the poor street urchin. We know that conditions for kids were horrible. Excuse me. During the Victorian era, but we've got this man dressed in his finery, and the image shows that, you know, the little boy is picking his pocket, but I dare say thieves can be well dressed as well. So don't be fooled by what the person looks like on the outside. All right. Here, yes, it says that the imprisonment card can imply confinement, imprisonment, isolation, and desperate motionless, and being motionless. It refers to prisons, asylums, rehab centers, jail. It can even stand for banks, or in some instances, any place that is locked off or that has limits on it or is secured. Metaphorically, it speaks of being trapped. And this is no matter the situation, job, relationship, and even contracts. It speaks to fear, loneliness, and isolation. If appearing with number 23, it can mean literally going to jail. Okay? So I don't know if this has happened to you or if this is someone that you know that something has happened to, and someone is, I feel, going to be going to jail. Number 23, the official person. It just, means, in other words, in general, when it appears to a non-person card, it can mean that whatever is going to happen will happen whether you like it or not. And he's not appearing next to a person card. Okay, he's separated. In other words, you're going to find yourself in a situation over which you have no control. Someone else is calling the shots. Let's see, the poverty card. I want to see if there's any indication or other information with the poverty card. Again, it represents a lack of control, a bad position, being down on your luck and misery. It predicts deprivation in both the material and emotional realms. The change card, number 9, I believe it is. Basically, the card is saying that it's just a metaphorical and a literal change. Relationships, social situations, and career moves. Okay? And it's saying that you're going to have to be adaptable. You're going to have to be adaptable because something is coming. And to me, in a sense, this could be that money is being kept away from you, locked away from you, causing you poverty, or at least the feeling of poverty, something being stolen from you. And I honestly feel that because the card is so close, here, the thief card, the placement of the card can be an indication that you might be able to get your belongings back. Maybe. It says, if it appears next to it is possible that you can recover the loss. It says, but if it is below or far away and reinforced by other negative cards, and we have these negative cards here, it can mean that your losses are irrevocable. So the spread itself doesn't tell me what the outcome is going to be. It simply says that there is a large sum of money involved, okay, that there are legalities, there's going to be a changing circumstance in which someone may be going to jail for theft, and whatever the case is going to be, it will be official. In other words, once the person is convicted, it becomes official. Okay? Now, what I want to do is to take a look at what these other 3 cards have to say. Occupation. Occupation deals with your job, your work. This is the work that you love to do, that you earn your main income from. Okay? The privileged lady. Now, what the card says, the privileged lady can be someone who's privileged. She, it talks about the easy, gentle way of life. She could be you. She could be a sister. She could be a friend. She could be, someone that and a close acquaintance. But for me, what the card is saying is that the occupation that you've had has given you the opportunity, has afforded you the ability to live pretty well. And then the bad health card. Now, this card in this particular deck strictly deals with health. But I find that because there's some language missing in here, in combination with other cards, it could mean something else. It would be like the Amalato in the Sibila cards. So it could literally be someone or a situation that is making you ill, okay? Bad health. And in fact, when I was doing imprinting with the deck, I came up with a couple of other interpretations for the bad health card, number 31. It is a peculiar kind of a card. Sometimes this card can mean the idea of some kind of minor illness or the inability to act, okay? And again, it can act as an intensifier, bringing attention to anything, a person, a situation that may be making you ill. And so that's how I see that. The number 12 card, hold on, she is the privileged lady. She doesn't show up next to the false person card. So in a sense, like I said, she's not representing a person. What she does is she represents prosperity, luxury, and wellness, a comfortable life. But someone is about to change that entire circumstance for you. So whether this is you or someone that you know, and something major is about to go down. And I think the cards here are trying to warn you of this. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I can pull out of here. It is literally saying that there's going to be a theft, that there will be legalities involved, the law will be called, there may even be violence. And as I said, this card with sudden wealth with the courthouse, okay, can usually mean the situation was going to go in your favor, but I dare say that it will not. With the thief, sudden wealth is this way, courthouse with the thief. In fact, says that you have little to no chance of winning and may in fact incur losses. So you may need to consider settling the case. Okay. I wish I had better news for you. Here with the official person, whatever the situation, it's going to high honor with the official person can mean some type of military or organizational notification or award. However, again, appearing with imprisonment and the thief and the courthouse and poverty, to me, is saying that it will be infamous. It won't be something positive. It's going to be something negative. Okay. Trying to see if there's anything else here. Despair. When followed by positive cards. Well, the change card, number 9. So to me, it looks like, you've been worried about this. It's in court, or you're dealing with this issue right now. There's a change, and the change may appear to be positive, but then we see that it doesn't go that way. Again, as I say, I wish I had better news for you. I'm going to formulate a, definitely has to do with your work or your business, okay, and your reputation. So let's formulate a question for the angel answer cards. This could literally be someone who's working for you here, okay? And maybe what you never knew about the person in the past is that they had this shady, sketchy past. You never knew that. And if that's the case where, you know, maybe you have been ill and you haven't been able to work and you left this person in charge, they done robbed you blind. Here we go. The card says forgiveness, and I think that's a very interesting card to come out. Okay. Formulate a question for the Golden Nostradamus. Now, it's got a whole spiel, the forgiveness card. But I'm going to tell you, once I start reading it, what I feel the most important portion of what it has to say is saying. Okay? Let's pull a card for the Golden Nostradamus. Because it looks like you lose, you know. And I personally feel that the two cards ending this means that you're not going to get your money back or your property or whatever it was that was stolen from you. That's my intuition is what that's telling me. It is the Knight. Now, forgiveness. And forgiveness says, let me find it if I can. See the EFG. Forgiveness can work miracles. When you release the past, a weight is lifted from your shoulders and a sense of freedom washes over you. Ask your angels to help you to let go of sadness or pain caused by others so that you can be free. This card refers to, and this is what I think is important, a need for self-forgiveness. It is time to let go of any guilt that you are holding on to regarding mistakes you may have made in the past. Give yourself some credit for having tried your best, even if the results weren't what you would have liked. You can focus on the changes you make that have made you a better person. Well, I don't think this situation has necessarily come about yet. I think it would be very difficult to forgive the individual for doing this. But if it comes to the idea, you know, I should have known better, I can't believe I was so stupid, yada, 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 you're going to have to forgive yourself for it so that you can move past this. Now, the other interesting card is the Knight. Okay? And as we know in the, what do you call it? The Rider-Waite deck, Knights bring news and messages. So something, you get some information, some news, and it moves the situation along. Okay, but Knights can also be rather fickle. So the card says, and I want you to listen because it makes no sense to me. I know him well, and he loves only you. Pining and aching, no other will do. It says a wedding is on the horizon, or perhaps an alliance with an important, noble, or powerful person. Academic diplomas, honors, or newfound freedoms or powers may arrive. Well, this is not a wedding. I don't think this is a divorce. What I think this is it's talking about, because I say I don't feel that this has happened yet, this is somebody coming into your life. And the cards are speaking into the future, saying that if you do business with this person, they're going to cause you a world of grief. Okay? A world of grief. And so you need to be extremely circumspect. I'm trying to see if there are any other timing cards in here to try to give a timing on this. But literally, there are no timing cards here, which I find to be quite odd. And as I tell you guys all the time, timing is relative. There is no timing. Yeah, there's absolutely no timing cards here. So I can't even necessarily give you a timing. Okay? I'm looking and there is no timing. But this card is a warning. You are being warned. The legal situation. If near the significator card, courthouse, but it's kind of not. It says, if far away from the significator or with other negative cards, beware. Well, we can say 1, 2, 3, 4. It's away from the significator. And there are lots of negative cards here. Okay. He's somewhat negative, but it would depend on the circumstances here. And so I dare say that whatever this thing is, it's going to be something serious, and it could cause you a great deal of grief. So be careful, be circumspect. If this has already happened, if it is too late, you're going to have to learn the lesson of forgiveness. Okay? For yourself, not the other person. I wouldn't do it, but that's just me. So that's what I have for you, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising, for January 2023. I wish it was better news. But again, as I say, unless this is you, if this is you thieving, you're going to end up in some trouble. So you might want to stop and think about it. Okay. But otherwise, that's what I have for you. Until next time, be well, stay safe, and namaste.